I always dreamed of joining the police force and serving my community. Little did I know that my dream would soon turn into a horrifying nightmare. It all started on a dark and stormy night when I was assigned to patrol an old abandoned police station. As I entered the eerie building, I could sense an unsettling presence. The air was heavy, and the sound of distant whispers echoed through the hallways. I brushed it off as my imagination playing tricks on me. But as the night progressed, things took a sinister turn. I began to hear strange footsteps approaching from behind me, but every time I turned around, there was no one there. The lights flickered, casting eerie shadows on the walls. I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. The horror intensified when I stumbled upon an old evidence room. Dust-covered files lined the shelves, and yellowed photographs stared back at me. Suddenly, the room grew icy cold, and a ghostly figure materialized before my eyes. It was the spirit of a police officer, his eyes filled with anguish and despair. The ghostly officer revealed his tragic fate. He had been wrongfully accused of a crime he didn't commit, and his fellow officers had betrayed him. Seeking justice, he had returned from beyond the grave, haunting the station and tormenting those who wore the badge. The spirit's presence grew stronger, and I could feel his anger and resentment consuming me. The other officers dismissed my claims, thinking I had lost my mind. But as the days turned into sleepless nights, I realized I had to confront the vengeful spirit and uncover the truth. Armed with determination, I delved into the station's dark history. I unraveled a web of corruption and cover-ups, connecting the dots to the wrongful accusation that had sealed the ghost officer's fate. With newfound evidence, I exposed the truth and brought justice to the spirit. As the ghostly officer found peace, the station returned to its former silence, but the haunting experience would forever linger in my memory. I learned that some horrors aren't supernatural, but born from the darkest depths of human corruption. The mirror's gaze. As a police officer, I had seen my fair share of disturbing scenes, but nothing could have prepared me for the chilling encounter that awaited me one fateful night at an abandoned police station. As I stepped into the dimly lit building, a sense of unease washed over me. The air was heavy with an oppressive stillness, and the flickering lights cast eerie shadows on the peeling walls. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. My attention was drawn to a peculiar mirror hanging on the wall. Its ornate frame held an air of ancient mystique, and its reflective surface seemed to hold secrets of its own. Unable to resist its allure, I cautiously approached, my reflection staring back at me. But as I gazed into the mirror, something was off. The reflection I saw was distorted, twisted into a grotesque and menacing form. It seemed to mock my existence, its eyes filled with malevolence. Startled, I tried to turn away, but an invisible force held my gaze captive. The mirror's influence tightened its grip on my mind, warping my perception of reality. I felt a growing paranoia, as if the mirror was infiltrating my thoughts, whispering dark secrets into the depths of my soul. As the night wore on, the mirror became an unrelenting tormentor. It projected visions of unsolved crimes, each one more horrifying than the last. The echoes of victims' screams filled the room, driving me to the edge of sanity. Determined to break free from the mirror's grasp, I embarked on a harrowing journey of self-discovery. I delved into the station's history, unearthing tales of corruption and unspeakable acts committed by those who wore the badge before me. With every revelation, the mirror's influence weakened, its power diminishing. I uncovered the truth behind the mirror's curse, an evil entity trapped within, feeding on the darkness of the police station's past. Summoning every ounce of courage, I confronted the mirror, determined to sever its hold on me and put an end to its torment. With a final act of defiance, I shattered the cursed mirror into 1,000 fragmented pieces. The air crackled with released energy, and a wave of relief washed over me as the malevolent presence dissipated. In the aftermath, the abandoned police station regained a semblance of tranquility. The shadows receded, and the unsettling aura that had plagued the building dissolved into the ether. The mirror's curse had been broken, and the spirits that had lingered were finally set free. But as I walked away from that haunted place, I couldn't shake the feeling that a part of that darkness still clung to me. The silent siren. My night shift as a police officer was usually filled with routine patrols and the occasional disturbance. But one night, a disturbing call came through on the radio. A derelict mansion on the outskirts of town was said to be haunted by a vengeful spirit. With a sense of trepidation, I arrived at the mansion. Its decaying facade loomed over me, and the wind whispered through broken windows. As I cautiously entered, the air grew thick with an unsettling energy. The mansion's interior was a labyrinth of dark corridors and forgotten rooms. Every step I took echoed through the empty halls, intensifying the feeling of dread. But what chilled me to the bone was the sound that echoed from the depths of the mansion, a haunting, melodic siren. Following the siren's song, I navigated the mansion's treacherous paths. It led me to a hidden room filled with dusty musical instruments. I felt an inexplicable urge to play one of the pianos, and as my fingers touched the keys, a surge of terror washed over me. The room transformed into a grotesque spectacle. The walls bled and ethereal figures materialized, trapped in an eternal dance. The siren's song grew louder, piercing my eardrums. I tried to escape, but the mansion's walls shifted and closed in, trapping me within their malevolent embrace. I realized that the mansion was a twisted prison for lost souls. The siren's song was their eternal torment, drawing unsuspecting victims like myself into their cursed domain. The cursed spirits hungered for companionship, yearning to share their eternal suffering with anyone who dared to enter their domain. I was caught in their clutches, helpless and terrified. As the spectral figures circled around me, their eyes devoid of life, I desperately sought a way to break free from this nightmarish trap. With each passing moment, the siren's song grew more intense, threatening to drive me to the brink of madness. Summoning every ounce of courage, I resisted the seductive allure of the haunting melody. I closed my eyes and focused on my training, trying to block out the horrors surrounding me. Slowly, I began to play a different tune on the piano, a tune of strength and resilience. As the sound of my defiance filled the room, the spirits recoiled in agony. The mansion trembled and their ethereal forms wavered. It was in that moment of vulnerability that I seized the opportunity to escape. Running through the shifting corridors, I could feel the malevolent presence of the mansion trying to hold me back. But my determination pushed me forward, and finally I burst through the front door, gasping for breath as the cool night air embraced me. As I looked back at the mansion, I saw it crumble and fade away, its dark secrets consumed by the night. The siren's song ceased and a profound silence settled over the once accursed grounds. Though I had survived the ordeal, the horrors I had witnessed would forever haunt me. The mansion had served as a twisted reminder of the power of regret and the eternal consequences of our actions.